Now is especially a good time around the holidays to be searching, whether this is December or right after the New Year's in January. Today, we're going to cover 8 reasons why that's the case. I'm going to give you 5 or half a dozen, or I lost count of how many tips I'm going to give you, what I want you to do right now, certain things I want you to change up. We're going to cover it all, but I need to make sure that I send you the messages as to why this is so important and why it's probably not what you think, where the tendency for most people just naturally is to want to slow down their job search right now. We don't want you to do that at all. In fact, I want it peaking. So let's get right into it. And I like to do this talk every year around this time because I feel like it's very topical. It trends nowadays because people, I think, are getting the wrong impression about the holidays. And before I get into the 8 reasons, I want you to know that I'm 59 years old. I've been working for a very long time, 37 years as a corporate practitioner who did a lot of hiring, as an executive recruiter from 2004, so the last 20 plus years, and as a career coach who's been coaching in this capacity to individuals since 2015, multiple arms of the business. This is where I'm drawing my insight from. So year over year, the same pattern occurs if you're watching out for it. So that's where the data is coming from. Plus, last week I maybe it was right before the Thanksgiving holiday, I called 3 corporate recruiter friends of mine and I talked to them as well. So I'm going to share what they told me. I'll share that with you as well. Okay, number 1 reason why you do not want to slow down: budgets. Why are we talking budgets? Well, it's December right now, or even if it was November or getting close to the end of the year, what most organizations do is they need to finish up the year, their fiscal year. Most of them run by the calendar, not all, but most. And they need to spend their budgets or they lose their budgets. Generally speaking, organizations do not like to roll from one year to the next budgets. They generally don't carry it. They start fresh. So what most organizations are doing is they're trying to accelerate any expenses that they can stuff into the current year. As an executive recruiter, whenever we were in the midst of searches for our clients, many of them would want to pay us in advance of the completion of the search so they could get those dollars off their books. And as executive recruiters, between November and February, we made tons of money in percentage-wise in relation to the rest of the year. If I didn't want to work the other 8 months, I probably wouldn't have needed to, but I wanted to keep those clients, and they had searches that ran all months of the year. But I want you to know that there's a lot of activity right now. My schedule right now as a career coach is stacked with people who are going through interviews and negotiating processes right now. So please do not slow down. Organizations want to expend their budgets. Second thing is they're planning for the new year. So not only are they wrapping up the budget for the current year, but they already have eyes on the prizes for the new budgets and the new inspirations that start in January. Well, they don't exactly teleport the people on January 2nd, immediately find them and get them into their offices. It takes some lead time in order to get them through the recruitment cycles. So they're already making plans for you to be there. And so they're already recruiting, especially the more senior people. And the reason that the more senior people tend to get contacted more now is because they're the ones that need to build out the staff, and they want to make sure that the leaders can actually hire their team members. So it occurs every year around this time between Thanksgiving and New Year's. So keep an eye on that. The other thing is the cycle time. The cycle time itself is there's a lag time in the amount of time it takes you in order to get through the recruitment process. And yes, while many people will in fact actually take some time off, most people that are in hiring capacities are trying to accommodate and account for that. And they know that with some days out of the office, they're going to need to be buttoned up for the time that they have in the office to actually interview people. And it's become even better in the last few years. I know we don't love video interview. At least I don't love video interviewing as much as I love in-person interviewing, but a lot of organizations are very, very comfortable interviewing through the Zoom or Teams or whatever it might be. So I want you to know they're going to be active. Do not slow down. All right, the other thing, turnover tends to be high. Turnover tends to be high for a number of reasons in December, in January, and in February. And the reason turnover is very, very high toward the end of the year is, number one, people have that new inspiration. They want to turn over a new leaf. So if somebody's unhappy in their job, they tend to try to get out. There's also employers who are going to go and actually surgically let people go. Some people who are not performing or haven't been performing through their performance reviews are going to be let go. They're going to be let go. Yes, I understand it's the holidays, but employers have to do what employers have to do. The other thing is there is some natural attrition with people retiring. People tend to retire at the end of the year. So there's some turnover there. And then there's some, not only are the people being pulled out, but if the writing is on the wall that you're not going to get that big raise or you're not going to get that promotion, people tend to more proactively look. Then when you get into January, imagine now you have more evidence of the fact of whether you're getting a good raise, a good promotion, or a number of organizations, they tend to hold their bonuses until January, some February, some even March. So they want you to be an employee of record. The minute that bonus gets paid, a lot of people put their resignation notice in and they want out. The other thing is employers are not only trying to hire for those new budgets, new inspiration, new projects, but they're also losing people because it's such a mobile time of year. They're also having to replace positions they didn't plan to replace, which is why now is a great time for you to be following up a little more frequently. Actually really hold that off until January, but you get the idea. Those are reasons 1 through 4. Reasons 5 through 8. If you follow Coach Andy 365 days a year, you know the way that I want you to approach job searching is by hunting for the boss. Hunt for a teammate, hunt for somebody inside the company, hunt the recruiters, hunt the HR people, but hunt. Well, there's going to be less competition right now. Number one, if you use the tactic where you are going in side door, or whatever you want to call it, but really boss hunting, that's going to be better. But there's also going to be even less of that because people are going to slow down. So there's going to be less competition. The other thing that I want you to know, when I talked about, I had reached out to a couple of three recruiter friends of mine. The things that they confirmed for me are, number one, their inboxes of inbound. Here was my question. What's your inbox looking like? It's slowing down. So I get so many inbound requests directly to me or DMs in my LinkedIn, through my LinkedIn or direct emails. That's starting to slow down. So I'm able to take a little bit more time with the people who are getting at me. That's less competition right there. But the other thing is, and this is a big deal, that many of the actually all three of these recruiters said, but I'm also hearing this even on my feed, is that employers are getting really, really tired because their ATSs are getting really, really stuffed. Now, I understand that a lot of people are applying for jobs, but also what that means is when the numbers go up, so too in proration does the number of unqualified candidates go up. So they said, as we were trying to keep up with our applicant trashing systems, there were a lot of unqualified people, but now their biggest pet peeve is everybody's resume looks the same. The bullets are structured the same. You could see everybody's using AI to write their bullets. And these three recruiters have totally stopped looking at the ATS. They said, all we do right now is we're doing our outreaches. So one of the other thing is this is also going to work in a different direction. I had a woman who, actually she's in Singapore. I met with her the other night, 4 o'clock my time, 7 a.m. her time the next day, December 2nd. It was December 2nd for me, December 3rd for her. She said, Andy, a couple of weeks ago, I flicked the recruiters only switch on, and immediately I started getting contacted by recruiters. I would definitely make sure you have that on. We'll talk about that when we get to the tips. But this less competition thing goes both ways. And then the recruiters tend to be more receptive to conversations, even networking, even talking to people with great profiles that they might not have an exact fit for. All three of these people said they become more receptive to it now because they know that they're going to have an influx of positions come the new year. They want to start talking to people that are generally would be in their orbit. So they're going to be more receptive. So even if there's not an opening, you still want to reach out to recruiters now because they're going to be more receptive to talking to you. The other thing is there's a lot more networking going on. I have a masterminder, Munira, who started her new job 3 days ago on Monday. She started her brand new job. How about that? She started the new job December 1st. While she was in the recruitment process and I was prepping her for her interviews, she said, "Oh, I'm going to their their year-end party, their holiday party. They invited all the people that were in their recruitment process to stop on by and go to the holiday party. There's going to be some of that. You might have friends who have holiday parties. You want to go with your friend. Maybe you're the plus one if you can be the plus one. But there are also a lot of networking groups having their year-end parties. I would tend to do that right now. So this is going on a lot, and there are seasonal opportunities. That's another reason why you want to make sure you are targeting organizations. I met with a guy the other night. Monday night. 7-year guy out of McKinsey. He's working for a startup right now on a contract to help them develop a strategy for something that they wanted to get done this year. So there's a lot of opportunities like that, and this startup would be probably interested in hiring him full time if it works out and as it's progressing. And he's a super sharp guy and definitely would add a lot of value to them. I don't think he wants to work there, but I was prepping him for another interview. So just going to show you. So not only are there seasonal jobs that come up, but also companies tend to put out some contracts to get some project work done that can help expedite their ability to get something done and pay for it this year. These things matter. These things matter. So those are 8 reasons why I don't want you to slow down. Okay, wait. I want to take a sip now before I transition. Isn't this nice? It's Andy Town Coffee Roasters, San Francisco. And do you know that until a couple days ago, I had never heard of this place, except one of the guys that I coach him and his wife. He got a job at Google, and as a thank you, he sent me this beautiful little mug, and he also sent me some whole bean coffee and an Andy's Town hat and a nice thank you card. Coach Andy loves these gifts. So when you get your job, you just ask Kara, where's Coach Andy's home address, because that Coach Andy doesn't go to the post office box too often. All right, what do I want you to do? All right, number 1, branding, baby. Okay, duh, like super duh, like a doy. Okay, get your resume in order. Get your LinkedIn profile updated. Don't worry about if you're employed. Just get the dang thing updated. Turn the setting off where it says, do you want to alert everybody and their brother that you made updates to your LinkedIn profile? Well, you turn that off, okay, if you're employed. This is something I really want to drive home. Remember how I was saying just a few minutes ago that my corporate recruiter friends, they're not checking the ATS, but they're reaching out and they're actually combing, and then they're letting the LinkedIn AI tool find you, hopefully that your LinkedIn profile is stellar and got all the right keywords. But the other thing is, the more active you are on LinkedIn, the more circulating that you do, the more the algorithm likes it. So when you're distributing your articles or you're writing your articles and you're circulating them because you're on their home base, you're on their platform, as opposed to like when I put my YouTube links in, it doesn't like that as much. But I would try to build up your brand through articles that you can write, and I do not want to hear any lip about it, because I fat finger all my articles. You could use an AI tool if you need to. You can rip the sucker out in 3 minutes. There's absolutely no excuse for you not to put some how-tos together, write a piece that's got 10 parts, and then write 1 article for each of the steps. There you go. You got 11, and you can keep circulating that stuff for months and months to come. I want you to post. One of the things that I did, actually, this is really good. My new book comes out October 6th, 2026. I spent my entire Thanksgiving week creating season 1 of the podcast, the new podcast that I'm going to have that accompanies that book. It was my version of taking time around the holidays to create. I created the entire season. I wrote the talk. I talked the talk. I recorded the talk. We transcribed the talk. I got all my quotes. I got all the art. We did all the stuff. I spent the Thanksgiving week doing that. It was awesome. I loved it. It was totally fun. But now I got a backlog of months worth of content for you that you won't unfortunately get to see until February when the book goes on sale. But still, think about how valuable this can be for the next several months, not to mention any of you career changers or anybody making a pivot. You need to start showing that you have knowledge and domain expertise of that space. All right, that's number one. Part two, get the dang green thing, the open to work thing off your face. That hurts you. It doesn't help you. I'm not even going to go into the rationale and the whys and the wherefores. But what I do want you to do, much like my client Tiffany did from Singapore, when she turned that on, the recruiters only, she immediately started getting contacted. And so one of the things that I would strongly recommend is that you are doing all the back channel stuff that you can do, fielding all the calls that you can field, but also making sure that your recruiter's only setting on. No one else can see that. And think about all the recruiters who are now going to be able to find you, because recruiters, there's enough what I would call, I hate the expression, but low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit in recruiter speak is somebody who's open and receptive to having a dialogue with me about potentially coming to my organization. So I want you to make sure that you have the right settings on in LinkedIn. So that's another thing that I would make sure that I do. And the combination of that, plus you being active on LinkedIn, plus you circulating, commenting, posting, writing articles, and all that is definitely going to help. Now, the other thing, actually, I should probably have written this in here. So I want you to do more. Anything that I've told you to do, I want you to do more of it. Okay, 3x3x3, my job search challenge approach, where you are identifying 3 organizations a day. You are identifying 3 individuals who could help you get into those organizations, meaning somebody that works at those organizations or one person that is 1 degree away to introduce you to somebody who works at that organization, and then sending 3 thoughtful messages, 1 for each person at each of those organizations. If you want more on the job search challenge, just check out my videos, job search challenge videos on the YouTube channel. I have a whole product that's premium that you can buy if you want that. Email us at support@milewalk.com. Okay, the other thing, so wait, not only would I do the 3x3x3, that's minimum. That's minimum. I'd go higher if you could. Colleagues, I would call past colleagues, and anybody that you can get your hands on, that you can text, tweet, fax, I don't care how you get a hold of them. Yell, open the window, scream. I had a neighbor, we used to do that. I used to talk from my bedroom, he'd talk from his bedroom. I don't care what you got to do. Get in touch with old people that you used to work with. Reach out to them. Tell them that it's the holidays, you were thinking about them, you always remember them fondly, you'd love to catch up. That's it. Don't tell them you're agonizing over your job search. Just get them on the dang phone. Ask them what's going on at their company. What are they doing? How have they been? How's their wife? How's their kids? How's their dogs? Just have some dialogue. Gather intelligence about what's going on at their organization. You can let them know you're in a job search, but they're wonderful sources of information. And then as much networking as you could possibly do, meaning go to the group parties, go to the corporate parties, go and when you're going to networking group meetings, make sure that it is a networking group that is focusing on education, not a job search networking group. Everybody at the job search networking group is job searching. There's nothing wrong with that, except that's not as prudent a use of your time. I'd rather you go to the financial network executives network group meeting where they talk about finance stuff, and they got finance speakers, and they got people who are employed who can potentially give you jobs. Any which way you can. I would do more of it. And then the other things that I would do is I would make sure that I'm picking up the number of small organizations I'm targeting, as well as organizations that don't have publicized opportunities. The reason that you want to do this in a greater fashion is smaller companies, they have much more flexibility. They're more malleable as far as their organograms go, and they could potentially pull you in, change roles, duties, things of that nature. Small organizations tend to want to get the right people on the bus, and they'll figure out how to exactly deploy them. So do more of that. And the no job opening speaks to the less competition. You join a company, you don't join a job. So I would make sure that you target the company, you target the boss, don't care about whether there's an open position. I would do more of this. It's going to give you more opportunities and a much lower level of competition. The other thing that I would do, because it's just a good thing to do, why not contact one person a day? That's every day, and see how you can help them. Why not do that? What is the worst thing that can happen? Somebody picks up the phone who you haven't talked to in a while, and you offer to help. Wouldn't that make you feel good? Who knows what would happen, but I guarantee this will help your vibration and your frequency tremendously in this process. Not to mention, it's a great time of year to do this. I got a text from a buddy I hadn't talked to in years, and I was just thinking about you. He's retired now. He says, I know you got a book coming out. I know you just had a book coming out. You came out last year. Is there anything I can do to help you? Is there anything I can do? Can I buy the book for the friends or for my group? What do you need? That was it. No motive, right? Just wanted to help. I'll never forget that. So do this. Call people that you like just to reconnect. Hey, I'm doing my bit of volunteer work. I don't care how you tee it up, but just do this. Get this in your normal cadence. Okay, I'm not going to recap the 8 reasons why it's important for you to be driving this stuff home, but I do want to recap the steps. I do want you working hard on your branding, especially when it comes to your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and your articles. I do want you to make sure, you probably have it, but I feel better saying it. Get that recruiters only switch turned on. Do more of everything, please. Pick better targets, meaning better targets right now, small companies, no job opening opportunities, and do your good deed every day. It'll make you feel good. All right. If you enjoyed that, please click the like button. If you are here with me live, we're going to the chat. Watching on recording, I'll see you next week.